Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on Saturday. It is August the 24th, 2019. It's Travers Day from Saratoga, and I'm going to look at all the stakes races, including the Midsummer Derby, the Travers. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And remember to go check out my York preview for today. It's the final day of the Ebor Festival, and I have preview and selections for all those races from York today, so go check that out. But today's card from Saratoga is very good. We're going to look at all the stakes races, basically races 5 through 11. Let's get on to it. We have a lot of action. The fifth race from Saratoga, the first of the Grade 1s, it's the Grade 1 Forego. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $600,000, races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the Saratoga main track. 1,400, 7 furlongs, main track. And I show the diagram. It just gives me that split second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. The top selection, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse, who is Ballerina. I'm going to go 5-1-3-2 in the superfecta. 5-1-3-2 super. Top selection of 5 horse, Ballerina. Forego Colt by Raison Diet. Carlos Martin trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 9th of August at Saratoga. 6 furlongs in the tail of Cat. 2 weeks ago, the horse won by 3/4 of a length that day. And he basically said last that day was very wide, but he had a great turn of foot, and he circled the field. It was a very good run for him. He's coming on a quick turnaround today, but I think he can win. I think there's a lot of speed in this race, and I think it's going to play up towards a horse like him who's going to come from a little bit behind. Before that, he ran an obsolete claimer at Saratoga, 6 furlongs, July the 19th. The horse finished second by 2 1/4 lengths, and again, he sat back early, had a great turn of foot. He just missed, but he ran a good effort that afternoon, and then he ran the John Neruda at Belmont, 7 furlongs, July the 6th. He finished 5th by 10 lengths and had absolutely nothing, didn't break all that well, and it just wasn't his day to win, but he's run his best races, I think, here at Saratoga. I do know it is going to be a massive step up in class for him today, but like I said, there's a lot of pace in this one, and I think it's going to, be towards a horse that close up well. His most recent workout at Belmont, going 5 furlongs and 59.3 on the training track, was a very fast workout. You don't see very fast workouts on the training track, but for this horse to go sub-minute, 5 furlongs there, it was very good. It was the best of 6 that afternoon, that morning. I like him a lot. 12-1. Let's take him here. If you're going to play the multi-race, I would go 5-1-3. But to recap my selections for the 5th from Saratoga, it's to Forego. Let's take the 5 horse Bon Reyes on his top selection. We'll go 5-1-3-2 in the superfecta. We'll go 5-1-3, like I said, in the multis. Race number 6 now from Saratoga. It is the Ballerina Stakes. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $500,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 7 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs, main track here in the Ballerina. My top selection, I'm going to take the number 5 horse here, Mia Mischief. I'll go 5-4-2-3 in the superfecta, 5-4-2-3 super. Top selection of 5 horse, Mia Mischief. This 4-year-old filly by Into the Mischief. Stia Asmussen trains. Ricardo Santana Jr. picks the mount up. The horse's most recent outing came 24th of July at Saratoga, 6 furlongs in the omnibus handicap, and the horse finished 4th by 2 1/4 lengths there. Stockton just had nothing, never quickened up. It just wasn't her day. She just ran a crap race, basically. Before then, the Roxalana at Churchill, 6 furlongs, June the 22nd. She won by 3/4 length. She stalked that day, and she got the lead, and then she just went around to a very good victory. She improved a lot there. And then before then, the Grade 1 Humana Distaff at Churchill, 7 furlongs, May the 4th. These are some very tough horses. She won by 1 3/4 lengths. She was off and on the lead all throughout, and she held on to a very nice victory, beating Marley's Freedom, who won next start out. And then before then, the Carousel at Oakland on a sloppy seal going the 3/4 mile trip. She finished second by 3/4 length behind Arstura Run, but this horse, she made a run that day. Wasn't the world's worst race for her. She's 3-0 here at Saratoga, but she's run some good races in the past. The only time she finished off the board was in the Honorable Miss last time out. She finished second in last year's test and second in last year's Pyrrhus on Labor Day weekend. I like her a lot. Throw that last race out. If she runs the Roxalana or the Humana Distaff, or even the test from last year, if she runs that race today, she wins. She's been training well. 5-1. I'm going to give her another shot. If you're going to play the multi-race here, I would go 5-4. I think it's a 2-horse race between those two. The Empire of Six begins with this race also, that 20-cent wager, which a lot of people hate. I know with tradition you have that the $2 pick six, but I think you have to start going on how many people can afford a $2 pick six in these days. So I think the 20 cents is good for the casual bettor now. I know a lot of the real deal horse players hate it, but you have to go with the times. But to recap my selections now for the six from Saratoga, it's the Ray 1 Ballerina. Let's take the 5 horse, Me and Mischief. We'll go 5, 4, 2, 3 in the superfecta. We'll go 5, 4 in the multi-race. Let's play the pick six today, shall we? So now let's get to race number 7 from Saratoga, which is the Jerkens Stakes, formerly known as the King's Bishop. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse $500,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters again, with the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400, 7 furlongs, main track. And the 7 furlong shoot at Saratoga today is getting a good workout. But the top selection, I'm going to go with the number 8 horse here, who is Roy Ayton. I'm going to go 8615 in the superfecta. 8615 super, top selection 8 horse, Roy Ayton. This 3-year-old colts by Into the Mischief. Donald Cleatos Jr. trains. Joe Rosario picks the mount up. The horse's most recent outing came 26th of July here at Saratoga on a muddy seal going. A mile Nathan the curling. And the horse finished 4th by 6 3/4 lengths. Was wide and from a stalking position and just never got the good run. It wasn't the day to win, but I think cutting back to 7 furlongs here today, if he shows, the Dwyer or even some of his races in California, I think he can win here. Before that, he ran the Grade 3 Dwyer at Belmont, 1 mile, July the 6th. He finished 3rd by 4 1/4 lengths. He just, he had a little bit of a trouble trip, which probably cost him, but he wasn't going to beat Code of Honor that day, to be honest with you, but he still ran decently. If he didn't get shut off, I think he would have won. And then a lounge race at Belmont, 6.5, June the 6th. He won by 1 1/4 lengths. He sat back early, had a great turn of foot, and he won quite nicely. And then Option 5 at Oaklawn, going 6 furlongs, finished 5th by 6 1/4 lengths. Did not like the kickback that day, and he just didn't break all that well, and everything just wasn't to himself that day. But as a 2-year-old, he finished 3rd in the American Pharaoh. He finished 2nd in the Del Mar Futurity, and he broke his maiden very nicely. He finished 2nd behind Game Warner, went on to win the Juvenile at Churchill in the fall. But I like this horse a lot. I think he'll get a good run. So I'll use him here at a bit of a price of 6-1, small bit of a price. But if you're going to play the multi-race with this one, I think Mind Control 15-1 has a live chance. His last start at Laurel, you just want to, when you watch it, you want to just bang your head against the wall. He had such a trouble trip. If you remember that, what Naira used to do with Andy Surley and Richard Migliore years ago, the trips and trap, this horse had such a trip that day in the concern at Laurel. It's just, you just want to, knock your head against the wall. But other than that, he's run very good in the past. He's a 7 furlong horse, and I think he's live here at 15-1. Depending on his odds, I might do a small win place wager on him, like calling on each way. But Mind Control could get a piece of it, and I think one horse Chancelot could also get a piece of it. But his workouts coming into this race haven't been as good as they were coming into the Amsterdam. But he did score the highest buyer in the last 15 years or so of 121 in the Amsterdam last time out. I'll use him here, but I think he might be a little bit overbet. I think you could possibly find a little bit of price in this race. But to recap my selections now for the 7th from Saratoga, it is the Jerkens Stakes, the Grade 1 Jerkens, formerly known as the King's Bishop. I'll go with the 8 horse Roy Ayton as a top selection. We'll go 8-6-1-5 in the superfecta. We'll go 8-6-1 in the multi-race. So now let's get to race number 8 from Saratoga, which is the Ballston Spa Stakes. It's a Grade 2 event going for a purse of $400,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going to the Mellon Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, with the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on that Mellon Turf Course. 1,700, a mile 1/16. My top selection here in the Ballston Spa, I'm going to go to the number 9 horse, Masha. I'm going to go 9-3-5-4 in the superfecta. 9-3-5-4 super, top selection 9 horse Masha. This Forego Stakes Harvey, Chad Brown trains. Ira Ortiz Jr. picks the mount up. The horse's most recent outing came the 31st of July here at Saratoga. Mile 1/16 on the inner turf course, allowance race 92,000. First start in 11 months. First start stateside. First start at Lasix. The horse won by length. She sat back early. She had a great turn of foot, and she won very nicely. And she probably wasn't even 100% cranked up. I think second off the break, coming to the Mellon Turf Course, that does play towards close a lot better than the inner turf course. I think she'll run a good race. Before that, she ran the 18th of August at Deauville last year, a mile and a quarter in the Group 2 Prix de la Noëtie, and the horse finished 5th by 2 1/4 lengths there. And she just never had the turn of foot. She just stayed the trip. It wasn't her day. And then the Group 3 Prix de Sec at Deauville, a mile and a quarter, July 28th. She finished 2nd by 3/4 length behind Homeric, who is also right now in Chad Brown's barn. This horse closed up well. Homeric had the jump on her, but this horse ran a good effort. And then before that, she ran in the Diana trial, basically the German Oaks trial at Baden-Baden in Germany. A mile in 8th June of 2018. She won by 3 lengths, and again, sat back early. The turn of foot was easily, and she just won nicely. She's a one kind of horse, a one-run kind of horse. She's going to come from a little bit behind. At 9-2, I think she's loaded, so I'll take her here. If you're going to play the multis, you definitely want to use the 3-horse secret message for Grand Motion. Grand Motion's having a pretty good meeting, striking with 24% of his runners. This horse ran, I thought, a very good race 2 back in the Nassau and 3 back in the Dahlia. Last time out in the Diana had a little bit of a troubled trip, which cost her. But I think with a better trip to here today, Secret Message could get a piece of it. And I also think Indian Blessing, the UK Invader, at 8-1, if she gets a good trip, I think she could also get a good run, so I'll go 3 deep here. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Saratoga, it's the Grade 2 Ballston Spa, the only non-graded 1 race of the afternoon from Saratoga. I'm going to go with the 9-horse Masha here at the Ballston Spa. We'll go 9-3-5-4 in the superfecta. We'll go 9-3-5 in the multi-race. So now let's get to race number 9 from Saratoga, which is a very good race, like all these races, but the 9th race, I think it's going to be a great showdown, and I think the graveyard of favorites might come out in this race. Well, not so much, but you catch my drift. The 9th race from Saratoga, it's the Personal Ensign Stakes. It's presented by Leah Infinity. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse $700,000, race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, then upwards. 6 horses are going to the main track, the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or 1 lap around the Saratoga main track, which is 1 mile and 1/8 in circumference. 1,800 meters, a mile 1/8 here. Top selection, I'm going to take the 4-horse Elite. I'm going to go 4-5-3-1 in the superfecta, 4-5-3-1 super, and I'm not going to use Midnight Beast, so I think she's the most vulnerable favorite in the world today, so I'm not going to use her anywhere on the multi-tickets, but the top selection is 4-horse Elite, 5-year-old mare by Medallia d'Oro. Bill Mont trains, Jose Ortiz gets the mounts. The horse's most recent outing, 13th July, Delaware Park, mile quarter in the Delaware handicap, and the horse won by 4.5 lengths. She sat back early, she got the lead, and then she just took off clear. Could have went around another 5 times and still won. Hand right at the end, 101 by her. It was just an all-around great run for her. Before then, the Florida Liz handicap at Churchill, mile 8, June the 15th. She won by 1.25 lengths that day, and again, she sat back early, she got the lead, and then she could have went around another 5 times. It's a very easy race for her, but two of her subpar races this year came at Oaklawn. She ran a 3rd in the Apple Blossom handicap at Oaklawn, where she just couldn't get the good turn of foot until late, and then she won, and then she finished 2nd in the Zari, where again, she just couldn't get the good turn of foot until very late in the run. But before that, she finished 2nd in this race last year behind Abel Tasman, and she got bumped down the stretch, which could have been a disqualification. Abel Tasman could never keep a straight course here at Saratoga, but this horse, she ran well here, there, and then she won the Delaware handicap last year very nicely, and then she finished 4th in the 2017 Distaff, and then won the Beldam and won the Alabama here as a 3-year-old. She's a horse that loves Saratoga. I think she's sitting on a good run. At 7-5, I'll take her. It's a shit price, but she should run well. If you're going to play the multi-race here, the 5-horse Wildcat, I think at a bit of a price, consider it to 7-5 at 5-1. Wildcat is definitely going to get the trip. I think she could possibly upset here, and I think she's a Julie, the 3-horse. Another horse, if she could step up in class, I think she could get a good run from a starting position. At 12-1, I'll use her. I might play 2 pick 4. I'll pick 2 pick 6s here, or 2 multi-race tickets. I'm going to do one where I single a late, and one I'm going to go a little deep, maybe if I could catch a price in this race, but I think a late's very good here. But to recap my selections now for the 9th from Saratoga, it's the Grade 1 Personal Ensign. We'll take the 4-horse Elate as a top selection. We'll go 4-5-3-1 in the superfecta, and like I said, we'll single late on a cheaper pick 6 ticket or multi-race ticket, and we'll go 4-5-3 on the expensive multi-race ticket. So now let's get to race number 10 from Saratoga, which is the featured turf event of the afternoon. The 10th race from Saratoga, it is the Grade 1 Sword Dancer Stakes. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $850,000. This race used to be $1 million. I don't know why they lowered the purse, but this race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going 2,400 meters with the distance of ground of 1.5 miles on the inner turf course. 2,400 meters, 1.5 miles inner turf. My top selection here in the Sword Dancer, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse, Pillar Mountain. I'm going to go 5864 in the superfecta. 5864 super, top selection 5 horse, Pillar Mountain. Forego colt by Kodiak, Tom Pletcher trains, John Velazquez gets the mount. This horse is facing first time stakes quality horses, and it's a grade 1, but I think he's definitely going to get the trip because he's bred for it. His most recent outing came the 19th of July at Saratoga, Month Rate's Inner Turf Course, an 6-2 claimer. The horse won by 2.5 lengths. From Y Poster, the horse sat back early. She got the lead, and then she took off. He took off clear on a very wet going, very kind of awful going. But this horse won nicely. It was an all-around good effort. Before that, at Belmont, a mile 3/8 on the Widener turf course. The distance didn't run a lot on the Widener. An opposite 25 claimer. The horse won by a nose, and again was out of it early, way out of it. But this horse fought a good race down the lane and held on to a very nice victory. He won next start, and the second place finisher. He's no lemon. Won next start out, and then the horses race before that came the 2nd of May here over at Churchill, mile 16th in an allowance race for just a measly $107,000 purse. The horse finished third by 3 lengths, and she closed up well, but she still needed that turn of foot late. The second and third place finisher, Penalty and Pillar Mountain, both won next start out. This horse is a winner of his last 2. His form as of recently has been, his North America form, other than the first race at Belmont, has been pretty good. He's going to get the trip, but he's going to need good pace in this one. One weird horse in this race, I think, is the one horse, Proven Reserves. Is this horse, in my eyes, is he in here for Chad Brown to be kind of the rabbit here? Because that's my only thought of him being in the race, because he has absolutely no turf experience, I don't think, and he just doesn't look like a grade 1 sword dancer kind of horse. So I have a feeling the one horse Proven Reserves is the rabbit for the Chad Brown runners, and if it is, I think that's going to be pretty good for Pillar Mountain, the Tom Pletcher horse, because I think he gets a free horse to run with to get a better trip here. Something I hate with these New York mile-and-a-half marathon staying trips is the jockeys just walk on the front end, and when they set easy fractions, the horses on the front end are usually going to win. It's okay to do on a Thursday afternoon at Belmont, but in the grade 1 sword dancer, somebody be a little bit more aggressive if they can be. It becomes a lot more exciting race because you don't want to see speed hold up all the way around. You want to see a horse close up from nowhere to win. I think Pillar Mountain can do it here, so I'll use him. If you're going to play the multi-race now here, I'll use Pillar Mountain, of course, my top selection. I'll definitely use the 8-horse Channel Maker, another horse. He can sit a little bit closer, and he nearly won this race last year. I'll use him, and I'll also use the 6-horse Ya Primo. I think, second star in the States, he'll get a good run. I wonder if that's why the one horse is in here, possibly as a rabbit for the Ya Primo, but we'll wait and see. That's the only thing. Like I said, Proven Reserves, the one horse. I have no idea why he's in here. It has to be because he's a rabbit. Very head scratching. But to recap my selections now for this 10th from Saratoga, it's the grade 1 sword dancer. Let's take the 5-horse Pillar Mountain as a top selection. We'll go 5-8-6-4 in the superfecta. We'll go 5-8-6 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 11th race from Saratoga, the Midsummer Classic. The 11th race, it is the Travers Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse of $1.25 million. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 12 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/4 on the turf course. 2,000 meters, a mile and a quarter, main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go to the number 7 horse, Mucho Gusto. I'm going to go 7-9-6-2 in the superfecta. 7-9-6-2 super, top selection 7 horse, Mucho Gusto. The trio colt by Mucho Macho Man. Bob Baffert trains. Joe Talamo comes in from Southern California to ride this one. The horse's most recent outing came 20th of July at Monmouth, a mile and 1/8 on a very warm day in the grade 1 Haskell. The horse finished second by 1/4 lengths behind Maximum Security. And he just couldn't get the good turn of foot. Maximum Security just went off with it, but this horse still ran a good race there. I think here, off of a very good workout patterns, I think he'll run well. Also, there's not a lot of speed in this one, or a horse that could sit toward the front end. Closers don't really win the Travers. You have horses that sit closer win the Travers, and horses like this. So if he sits closer, I think he could get a good run. Before that, he ran the grade 3 Affirmed at Santa Anita. June the 16th, going mile 16th, he won by 2 1/4 lengths. He sat a little bit back early. He got the lead, and then he took off clear. A very good run for him. And then the last Barrera at Santania Simfrong's May the 18th. He won by 3 1/4 lengths. He sat on the lead all throughout and just went away with it. A very good run. Before that, he finished third in Sunderland Derby, where he just did not have the best trips on the front end. But before that, won the Robert B. Lewis nicely, and then finished second in Low South Futurity behind Improbable. He's other than the Sunderland Derby, he's run pretty nicely. Other than that, like I said, he looks like he's towards the front end, which is good on this in this race. And I like him a lot. His last workout was very good. 6-1. I think he's loaded, so we'll use him here. Even though I think it might be getting a little bit overbad with the Bob Baffert here, but I'll take this one a lot. I wonder if Joe Talamo's ever won a race here in New York, other than the Wood Memorial back in 2009, or at Saratoga. Let's see if he could win the Travers here. So I'll use him here along with the number 9 horse, Looking at Bikinis. This is a horse I like a lot here. Bit of a price play, long shot play. 10-1, 3-year colt by Looking at Lucky. Chad Brown trains Javier Castellano. The horse ran a third in the Curlin a few weeks ago here at Saratoga in the mile length, and the horse didn't break all that well. Was wide, and then went to the rail, which was the wrong part. But and then just couldn't get the good turn of foot. Highest honors and endorsed or running back this one today. Just ran those better races, but Javier just ran a crap race today. Getting the mile and eighth, sitting closer also, a mile and a quarter, getting a closer trip. I think he'll really run a good race. And if you're wondering, the Curlin Stakes ever produced a Travers winner? They did back in about 2014 with VE Day, or 2013, can't remember. I had VE Day in the Curlin and in the Travers. Made a lot of money with him that summer. That was the first summer I was actually allowed to bet at Saratoga with being 18 and all. But it was a very fun summer with hitting both those races. But so if you're wondering, Curlin Stakes has produced a Derby, a Travers winner. But before the Curlin, this horse ran at Belmont, 1 mile and optional 100 claimer. First start of the year, first start against winners. The horse won by half length. Again, sat back early, but had a great turn of foot and won nicely. And then broke the main at Belmont on the slop last year, very nicely on the lead all throughout. Beating Cutting Humor is a very good horse. Workout pattern's been great. Another horse that could sit closer in a field of closers. 10-1. I'll take him to the bank. Taxed the 6 horse looks nice also. He ran a terrific race, I thought, in the Jim Dandy a few weeks ago, where he had a horrible start, had nothing his own way, went to the inside, which was not for the right part of the track, but he closed up well. He's one of the few horses that closed up that weekend at Saratoga, and he ran a good effort there off the break. A good second place finish in the Belmont, and a good fourth place finish in the Derby. He's going to definitely get the trip. If there's going to be a closer that's going to win, I think it's going to be Taxed, but 5-2 is too low. And a bit of a wise guy horse's Code of Honor. He's either going to get the trip or not. He did win the Dwyer very nicely a few weeks ago and finished a good third place finish in the Derby and a good third in the Florida Derby. He's the kind of horse, if he gets the trip, he's going to win. He's the kind of horse I would probably take at a 1-turn mile at Belmont, something like that at the Kelso. I would bet him next time out. But here today, if he could get a good run, he could also win. I'll use him on the multis, but I'm more confident in my top 2, actually, Mucho Gusto and Looking at Bikinis. But to recap my selections now for the 11th from Saratoga, it's the Grade 1, $1.25 million Travers Stakes. The Run Happy Travers Stakes. Everything's sponsored by Run Happies these days, but it's the Travers. Gonna go as a top selection, 7 horse Mucho Gusto. We'll go 7, 9, 6, 2 in the superfecta, and we'll use all 4 of those horses, the 7, 9, 6, 2 in my multi-race ticket. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.